Hey everyone, my name's Kyle, and today I'm going to be talking about the film Annihilation. The movie is written and directed by Garland, who also made Ex Machina, and stars Natalie Portman as a biologist who embarks on a very dangerous journey with a group of other female scientists to investigate a mystical force field called the Shimmer, to discover what it is and what it wants. As a huge fan of science fiction, I was definitely very intrigued by the concept of this movie alone. And at the same time, I've always enjoyed watching Natalie Portman in films. I remember loving her in the Star Wars prequels as a kid. Save your comments. But I'm always interested in seeing a movie with her. And for this particular review, I want to be as vague as possible because I want to encourage you to see this movie because, in my mind, Annihilation was a very fascinating and intellectual sci-fi film. From beginning to end, guys, I was gripped by this movie. I was literally on the edge of my seat the entire time. Let's talk about the cast. Natalie Portman, as I said before, is an actress I've been watching basically my entire life, so I really always enjoy her in roles, despite the fact that some of the movies she's been in really haven't been all that great. But definitely the great movies and the great roles absolutely shine, and I do really like her in this movie. I thought she did a really good job. There's definitely a lot of backstory, a lot of history to her character that I will not get into because honestly I didn't know. I didn't see any of the trailers for this movie. I only saw, I think, like a 15-second promo online, and that's all I really wanted to see. I wanted to go into this movie really as blinded as possible, and I was very happy I did so. But guys, if I can say one thing, damn is she good when it comes to firing a machine gun. She never blinked. I can't imagine how hard that must have been for her. Supporting her, we have Jennifer Jason Leigh, Gina Rodriguez, and of course Tessa Thompson, who, I'll be honest, I do have a bit of a crush on. I really love Tessa Thompson. I think she's really beautiful, and you know, it's a blast to see her in the movie, but I like the fact that these are strong, badass, independent female characters. It's great because I just saw that in Black Panther, and again, I'm seeing it in this movie, but I love the fact that this is definitely a female-driven movie, and they are taking center stage. Oscar Isaac is also in this movie, but I really don't want to talk about him, because honestly, you really don't want to know anything about his character. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But I will say, he was good in this movie. I gotta say, guys, the effects in this movie look fantastic. And this movie was only shot on, I think, a $55 million budget, which is very impressive. I've seen movies with 3 or 4 times that budget have really bad CG. I am aware this movie is coming on Netflix in a lot of countries around the world because it's apparently too intellectual. But honestly, this movie is way better than all the really crappy movies they've put on Netflix recently. While this movie is definitely a very engaging sci-fi film, there are a lot of aspects of this movie that I personally found predictable. Now, I can completely understand if you saw this movie and were completely shocked with what happened towards the end, which again, I won't spoil. It really just stemmed from a guess I took within the first 15 minutes of the movie because there was something that felt off, and my mind just went, oh, well, I think that's what's gonna happen. And it did. That really can be constructed as a bit of a lucky guess. But I definitely understood a lot of the things in the movie that I think for other people might be either shocking or very puzzling. That being said, though, there are a lot of aspects of this movie that definitely had me scratching my head. Things that I definitely, when I go see a second time, will really focus on to make sure I either understood it or that I really just re-examine it. As for actual flaws with the movie, I do think the music is a little bit awkward until the last 20 minutes, which I thought was amazing. I saw this film with a group of friends, and we were all thinking about the musical score as we left the theater, as well as asking each other questions and thinking about the film. But the music before that, to me, just didn't really mesh well with the overall mood. I'm not really a fan of just the regular guitar themes in movies. I honestly think it just takes me out of the situation besides Good Will Hunting. While I definitely liked the characters in the film, I do wish we could have learned a little bit more about them, because we could address their backstories through some exposition that I felt was necessary in order to get us to really know who these people are and to really feel for them when they were in danger. But I really wish there was more. I'm not trying to knock on Garland here because, I mean, the man is a true visionary. This movie is directed really well. From a writing standpoint, I feel like there were things that were just missing from certain scenes, and I feel like it really is a lack of emotion. Certain scenes in the movie just felt a bit too cold for me, and I felt if there was more emotion to get us really wrapped up in certain scenes, I feel like it would have been better. You can definitely tell Garland has taken inspiration from Kubrick and Tarkovsky, but in my mind, there are a couple of elements of this movie that could be seen as pretentious. Namely, one little thing that happens in the movie once they directly enter the Shimmer. It was a concept that they began to build, but in my mind, they never really followed through with that. Again, it might just be a first viewing problem. I'm pretty sure most reviewers are definitely saying that they need to see it a second time, and I definitely agree because I feel like there are a couple of things that I just didn't quite get on my first viewing that I think if I saw it a second time, I really would. This is definitely going to be known as one of those love it or hate it films. I can definitely see it. I'll understand if you really do not like this movie. I won't be the least bit surprised. This is going to be a movie that will divide a lot of people, especially thinking about what it all meant in the end. However, there are certain questions that are asked that are either left unanswered or quite simply left to the audience's interpretation to find out exactly what the hell just happened. And that can be quite maddening for some people, and I can understand why you wouldn't like this movie for those reasons specifically. Overall, guys, I thought Annihilation was a very good intellectual sci-fi film, which is a rarity these days. We really don't get a lot of these types of films, and I really do hope you support it because it's very good. It does have a few flaws. I do think the writing could have been a bit stronger, the music choices were a bit awkward, and I felt like there could have been more of an emotional connection. However, I really did like this movie. I thought the cast was great, the effects looked really good, and the story was quite intriguing. So in the end, I'm going to give Annihilation an A-. Guys, I really do hope you see this movie because it's a rarity when you get to see very intellectual, intriguing, ambitious sci-fi films, especially of this caliber with this great of a cast. I know we're definitely all swept up in seeing Black Panther again and again, but I do hope you guys check this film out because it really is worth your time, and it's definitely a movie that will make you think for sure. So if you guys saw Annihilation, what did you think about it? I'd like to hear your comments, so send them down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. Look forward to my next review, which is going to be for game night, and then my 6th official Blu-ray collection. I wanted to insert that at the end of this video. That's coming Wednesday. Thank you all so much, and stay tuned.